When it comes to buying cameras, I've always chased after the latest and greatest specs that I've seen in YouTube camera reviews. Besides going into debt, my obsession with specs has caused me to overlook one of the most important features in a camera. Is it going to be comfortable enough to actually use?
It does not feel great.
When I bought my first full-frame camera, the Sony A7C, after being hyped up over some reviews, I really wasn't sure what I was getting myself into. At 659 grams, it was quite a bit heavier than what I was used to with the Sony A6600. I hadn't even given myself a chance to hold one in the store before going ahead and ordering one. And that's when I realized the way a camera feels in your hand is actually a pretty important factor in making your purchase decision. This is actually my Sony A7 IV, and I'm pretty used to the size of it by now. But when I first got the Sony A7 IV, all I could do was dream about having an APS-C-sized body again. And when the Sony A7C came out with its nice small compact body, I was ready to pull out my Paybu credit card right away. But then I watched Jared Pullen having some trouble trying to hold his.
In the hands, it does not feel great. It is not a super deep grip. And the rubber that they use on the grip this time feels super slick, like I'm going to drop it. My pinky hangs off the bottom really a far way. You're not able to get a grip for this.
I thought it could be possible that Jared Pullen just has giant hands, so I decided to watch another review by Jason Vong. He seemed to like the grip a bit better.
If you have big, meaty claws.
What did you say, punk? Big, meaty claws!
You might struggle with this. I don't know. I just think it's funny people actually complain about the grip size on the earlier Sony mirrorless cameras, which, by the way, were initially designed to be small and compact as an appealing and selling point versus getting a heavy, chunky DSLR. I don't know, I guess enough reviewers and people complain. That's why Sony have been making their head honcho alpha cameras beefier and beefier, which is not a bad thing. They listen to their customer base and offer a variety of different body sizes in case you do have big, meaty claws.
Well, these claws ain't for just attracting mates.
But it's a compact camera, and I think people who value the smaller size and the smaller form factor would really appreciate it, especially to my fellow Asian brethrens with small claws like me. It's not about the size, it's about how you use it. Yes, we're still talking about taking pictures here. Calm down.
I was willing to take a chance on the grip size. The camera was so cute and compact.
It's really pretty. They made a cute one.
And it would definitely fit in my purse. But then I learned it had one of those EVFs that was set on the left-hand side, just like my Sony A6600. Ever since having an EVF that's placed in the center, I wasn't sure if I could go back to one of those rangefinder-style EVFs, and Jared Pullen said he had trouble seeing through it. If he was having issues, I probably would too.
One of the things that I absolutely despise about the A6600 lineup and any of those compact cameras is the EVF placement for one, and the size of it. For one, the placement, as Sony explains to us, that there is no way that when they shrink the camera like this, that they could put the EVF in the middle because it would get in the way of the mount. Okay, that's understandable. But this EVF is so tiny that if you wear glasses, it's going to be very difficult to get your eye up in there to see through the EVF. And me, I'm blind and I wear glasses now, but when I shoot, I don't wear glasses. And it is very difficult to see the writing and the text inside of this viewfinder because it is so freaking small. Did I get used to it when I was out shooting? I mean, I shot and the funny thing is, the first thing I did when I went to shoot, I lifted the camera up and I went like this. I'm like, there's no viewfinder right in the middle where I'm used to it being. Instead, I'm left-eyed, so now I got to put this whole thing here. Right-eyed people can do this. It's very much like a rangefinder. I just don't like the EVF.
It was around this time when I started to get into filming and photographing wildlife. I had learned the benefits of having a central EVF for tracking wildlife from watching Tony and Chelsea. They were comparing the Sony A6700 with the Canon R7, And having your EVF lined up with your lens can definitely be a benefit.
The other thing I noticed is that the rangefinder design makes it a little different when you're trying to find animals in the viewfinder. If you're used to having your viewfinder in the center, it might just take a little bit for you to adjust to finding things in the frame.
I think the R7 is a better setup for wildlife with its SLR style design, with the viewfinder lined up with the lens.
I had decided to put a pause on the purchase of the Sony A7C. I wasn't going to let gas overcome me. I had just bought the Sony A7 IV and I hadn't even broken it in yet. Besides, I had watched a video from Brian James, and he said having a heavier camera can be good for wildlife. It can help balance out the heavier lenses.
Now, admittedly, this isn't a small Micro Four Thirds camera. If you're looking for something tiny that disappears into a coat pocket, the G9 isn't it. In fact, one of my few criticisms is that it's actually quite large for a Micro Four Thirds body. It's certainly bigger than many Olympus and OM system cameras. It's also slightly heavier. Now, personally, I don't mind that, because with the extra size comes fantastic ergonomics. It fills the hand beautifully. There's a deep grip. Everything falls naturally under your fingers, including the on-off button. Take note, Olympus. After several hours of shooting, it remains comfortable. Sometimes a slightly larger camera is actually easier to use than a tiny one, especially with large lenses. I'd much rather have excellent ergonomics than save a couple of 100 grams.
That was one of the cameras I bought before the Sony A7 IV. I had really enjoyed it. Now that's one of the cameras that had one of the most convenient button placements. I was watching a video from Daniel J. Cox and I remembered how convenient it was to have an actual white balance button.
Now, the G9 has really taken ergonomics to the next level, in my opinion. In particular, the white balance, ISO, plus minus exposure compensation buttons, the three buttons that I constantly am working with while I'm shooting, are right here behind the trigger finger where you can get at them quickly and efficiently. It started with the GH3, the GH4, the GH5, and they've improved the button layout even better on the G9s. The top three buttons on the G9 are marked specifically for the things they do: white balance, ISO, plus minus exposure compensation. And that's an important element, I believe, of the ergonomics of a good camera. A lot of the cameras today are allowing you to change these buttons in any way you want, and therefore some of them, like the Sony camera, don't mark them in a way that is obvious as to what they're doing. You can customize the C2 and the C1 button in any way you want. But what happens is oftentimes people will customize these buttons and then eventually forget what they've done.
I'm not ashamed to admit that it takes me several months to remember exactly which custom settings I saved under which slot. And it definitely takes a while for me to get used to a new button layout when I change camera brands. That's one reason I decided not to get the Nikon Z6 III. After watching Casey from Camera Conspiracies trying to grapple with the left-sided mode dial, I decided I'd stick with Sony, at least for a while.
It's that damn left-handed dial. Let me show you why this matters. The PASM dial that has your custom modes allows you to switch custom modes quickly and easily. If you're doing wildlife, which this should be the ultimate wildlife cam, you're doing 6K 60 RAW, HD 240, we'll get to that, fake HD. You would want to be switching here, so just picture this scenario. You have a bird. Okay, we got you. Now let me reenact that with Nikon. So say you're here, you just got your 6K 60 RAW clip. I now want to switch into HD 240. But the dial's on this side of the camera. Why is that? So if you do a right-handed wraparound, you're looking at something like this. You see this? I have now lost control of my camera. We're likely going to sway, and I've lost the bird. It just laid a nest. It laid a nest.
As I became more interested in filming and photographing squirrels, I discovered that being able to change your settings quickly is everything. You may be wondering, if I had the Lumix G9 with its easy button layout, why didn't I just keep that to do my wildlife? Besides being told Micro Four Thirds was dead by Tony Northrup, I was also having some trouble with the Leica 100 to 400 millimeter lens. It was a little stiff.
It's what I was shocked to find out. This lens, this is the one. If you're going to go for wildlife, this is the 100 to 400, their highest quality lens apparently. You would not believe, one, the stiffness of the zoom. It's like metal. I could cut my hand. I probably will. Look, that I am bleeding. I could live with that though. Just, okay, ow. When you get there, it's the focus ring that is so stiff. I'm used to doing one finger. Just, okay, boom, yep. On every system so far, Fuji, Olympus, and Sony, no problem manually focusing. What is this? It's so much that I have to actually grip 2 fingers. I know this sounds like a nitpick, it's not. Let me just show you footage of what this looks like in real time trying to get a bird. In this majestic shot about to happen with squirrels on a perch with a building in the background, most majestic shot we've ever seen. That's me zooming, and now I'm trying to manually focus. And just, I managed to do it, but it took some time. What I'm seeing in the viewfinder is rolling shutter chaos.
I sometimes do miss the Lumix G9 and having the equivalent of 800 millimeters reach. I have heard that they've come out with a second version of the Leica 100 to 400 that's a little more smooth.
It's smoother. It's definitely smoother than the original, but it's still kind of the same. Like once you get to 300-ish, if you're going slow, it's like stuck, it's struggling. It's no like Sony G Master smooth.
Maybe one day I'll return to Panasonic, but one of the features I'd miss the most if I sold my Sony camera is this little switch that lets you go from photo to video to S&Q. That has made my life so much easier. I know I could save all my settings in the custom modes on all the other cameras, but I just love that switch. Not everyone finds that switch convenient. When Sony released the A7C Mark II, Marcus Pix was not too happy with that switch.
I know it has a better viewfinder. Everything looks bigger when you look through it, and that's one of the reasons I got it. But there's 2 things I really don't like about it. One of them is that stupid switch on here. It's driving me crazy where I go to take a picture, but I can't take a picture. I have to switch it over to picture mode in order to do that. Or I'm taking a picture and I want to take a video and I got to switch it over to video mode in order to take a video. Otherwise I can't do certain things with it. It's too frustrating and limiting. It makes me just want to hurl this thing. I know some people like it. They have a reason for it and everything. I hate it. Okay. That's why I hate this so much. That's why I'm getting rid of it. And if you want this, if you like that switch so much, fine, take the camera, enter it at marcuspix.giveawayenter.com and you can have the damn thing.
I didn't win, but if Marcus Pix has another Sony A7C Mark II that he doesn't want, I would definitely take it so I can put it in my purse and take it with me on the rare occasions that I leave the house. My real goal is to have a second camera body so I can wear 2 cameras at the same time, one with the Sigma 16 to 28 millimeter lens and the other with the Sigma 100 to 400 millimeter lens. And that way I'd have a wide focal length for landscapes, and then I could zoom in to get some squirrel footage. I've learned that the ergonomics of a camera is just as important, if not more important, than the specs. And once you found a camera that you're comfortable using, it's probably better just to keep using that one and not buy a new one right away. If you like this video, give it a like, consider subscribing for more camera-related content from a newbie like me. God bless.